It only takes 2 minutes, and it's a complete song, first time through, with no mistakes. I get a standing ovation every time, and I don't remember what I did. But the tape recorder does. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I would take those same 3 to 7 notes and sit down to do that again, another song would come out. It wouldn't be the same song because I'm not using any kind of comparisons or anything. I'm just tuning up to whatever that song is saying to me at the time and what those overtones and undertones and whatever other forces are coming through my consciousness are telling me at that time. It'd be a totally different song.
So at every stage in the creative process, from your hearing of it to the time that you relate it to either notation or instrument,
Mm-hmm.
and then on through someone else playing the music
Mm-hmm.
or chiming in as they
Mm-hmm.
would in jazz with their own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There are changes that are happening
All the time. It's a dynamic. It's always a dynamic. Now, when I get to composing something that I'm going to copyright, and I put it in fixed form.
Okay.
Now, it's on a tape recorder. It's in fixed form, all right? I could write the notes a year later, or I could do it right away. It doesn't matter. They're not going to change on the tape recorder, right?
Right.
So the writing of notation is an incidental tool. It's not the process of composing.
Is it always as good? I mean, in other words, if you hit the first three to six notes one time and then the next time you sit down and do it again, is it always as good?
It's always good.
But there are different degrees, though. I mean, sometimes it's right and sometimes...
I do very little adjusting of it.
Really?
I do very little because the songs are gifts. Now, I used to try to write songs out of my intellect, and I didn't like any of them. I mean, I did that for years when I was younger, and I didn't like the stuff that I did. Then I would walk my dog and start whistling a song, and oh my God, that's a wonderful song. If I could remember it by the time I get home, and I don't. So I've lost thousands of songs like that. But the creative process is always there for anyone who wants to tap into that higher channel of what's going on. It's there. It's like a plane of consciousness that we don't utilize very much because we're so mired in our intellect.
So creativity is not result, it's process.
It's process. It's total process. Now, you're talking about being in a live music situation where you're actually playing. There's a level of that. And I learned this back in my probably late teens, where I could go with a band that's well rehearsed and they have arrangements and they have maybe 2 horn players, and I can join them and play a third part without duplicating any of their notes of their arrangement that I never heard before. And they look at me and say, how do you do that? And the answer is, I can hear what notes you're thinking. As long as you're thinking sound. If you were thinking A, B flat, I can't hear that because that's not sound. But if you're actually thinking the sound in your mind, I can hear it.
Because maybe the everybody, especially in a jazz band, which is a very unique form of music, is drawing on the same fundamental thread. Could you say that?
Because each instrumentalist has to know all the music. You're not just playing the violin part and have the conductor responsible for the overall sound. You're responsible for everything that goes on as well as everybody else in the band. So that kind of thing goes on. Also, being able to communicate to an audience is a similar thing. Because while you're performing, they're responding to you. If you know your notes are going out there, you don't do, one of my protégés said to me, I notice when you and some of the other experienced guys play, you knock people out of their chairs. They just go crazy. How do you do that? I want to learn how to do that. And I told him, don't play any notes you don't hear. Don't play throwaway notes. Because if you're not hearing it in your consciousness, it's not going to resonate in their consciousness.
A lot of people, when they learn how to play, they learn certain habits, bridges, things like that, and that's what
That's what I'm talking about. That's throwaway stuff.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing in the music schools. That's why most of the jazz music schools aren't turning out giants like Dizzy and Monk and Miles Davis. They're just turning out generic players who play a lot of notes and pretty much play the same patterns on everything because that's the method they're being taught. Well, there's another method, and that other method comes from the oral tradition, and it has nothing to do with the kinds of principles they're telling them to use in these so-called jazz programs.